Good morning, everybody. This is David and Laura from Busy Bee Farms, and today we are going to be processing our meat birds. I'm going to make sure I go through my video and that there is no footage of the actual killing of the bird or dispatching of the bird, but that we show you as much as we can of how we process our meat birds. We're going to try just a little bit different today than what we have done in the past because I've got my mom and Daryl and Laura's dad's here to help us, and there's a possibility of a couple more of my friends that are going to show up to help us process our birds. But we're going to try to do the dispatching, scalding. This is our dispatching station. I've just got a piece of plywood that is screwed to I got a piece of 2x6 in here, 2x6 out here, going through the chain link to hold it upright, and then a piece of plywood stood up on the front with just a couple little screws to hold my killing cones and the buckets to catch all the drippings. This is I do need the spray, please, honey. This is our homemade scalder. I've showed it before. There's a video that I've put out on how to build this, but it is a old 50 gallon hot water heater, propane. This is the brains of the operation that controls our water temperature. It runs off of 110 and just a standard, this is a 30 gallon, but it'll work off of a 20, like goes to your gas grill. So this is our scalding pot, and as you can see, it's at 146 degrees, which 145 is the optimum temperature to scald. Olivia's going to be running the plucker today because Matthew's at work. This is a yard bird. My mom bought this for me for Christmas and or my birthday, I can't remember. But this is how we pluck our chickens, and then all the feathers. Let's see if I can turn it on here and show you. When you turn it on, the plate on the bottom spins with these rubber fingers. The chicken just twirls around in here, and these rubber fingers will pull all the feathers off. So the plate in the bottom is the only thing spinning. The other is just there, and it has like a water hose up around the top that keeps everything wet because you have to keep it all wet. The feathers come out this chute. I just took an old milk crate and put a piece of flashing on it to catch the feathers and direct them in. From here, the bird will come out. We will bring it over to our table where Daryl and Pop will go ahead and eviscerate the chicken, which means cuts their guts out and everything, and we will go through one of those to show you how we do that. And then today, once we get to that point, we're just going to put them in the barrel of water to let them chill until we get everybody dispatched. And then we'll all work together to quarter up our meat. And my mom bought a new vacuum sealer. The last time that we done this, both mine and hers, when we started, wouldn't actually draw a vacuum. So she went and bought this new high dollar vacuum sealer, and we're going to try that out today. I'll give you more information about it when we get it opened up. I've only used it one time. It's a chamber vacuum sealer, but it seems like it's going to do a good job. We're going to put it through its paces today and see if it can hold up. So anyways, guys, that's how we're getting started today, so stick around. If you are squeamish about blood and guts, this is probably not the best video for you to watch. I'm going to try to make it as family friendly as I absolutely can, but still show everything that I can to make it educational, so that hopefully it helps you and shows you so that you have the confidence to provide the meat for your own family. So if you've not done so before, hit that subscribe button and stick around. Step one for us is the dispatching station. We have 2 cones that we have purchased that they're stainless steel, and to keep the blood and stuff from sticking to these, we use just a regular, like you would use on a cooking sheet, non-stick canola oil that we spray down our cones with, and that keeps any of the blood or feathers or anything from sticking to these, and it makes the cleanup 100 times easier. So we just give them a good coating of the oil inside and out, and like I said, that will keep the blood from sticking to it and make your job of cleaning up after this long process a whole lot easier. So that's basically how we get it set up. This is nothing special, just standard cooking oil spray that your wife will have in the kitchen. Ask permission before you take it. Okay guys, so just an update. After the chicken is dispatched, it comes over here to the scalder. Now we are not saving the feet. We quarter our chicken meat up, so we have plenty of the bone carcass, the main chest cavity and everything left over, that we make our chicken broth out of that. We don't boil the chicken feet down. It just is easier for us to be able to cook the chicken if it's already quartered. You know, we might want breast one day, we might want thighs one day, or wings, something like that. We can go and get just that out of the freezer, and we're not required to cook the entire chicken. So it's just easier for us to cook our chicken that way. So what I'm doing is you just scald it, and then these main wing feathers or tail feathers, you check those, just easily pull out, then it's done scalding, and it moves over here, and Olivia turns the water on to the scalder, or the plucker, I mean. We stick the bird in there, down in there. And as you can see, the plucker just rolls the chicken around like that, and the little fingers pull all the feathers off. Now because we're quartering ours up, that's good, Olivia. Because we're quartering ours up, we don't worry about the tail feathers as much. If you're gonna leave it whole, this right here is the oil gland. Wipe it on my shirt right here, Laura, because it's wet. Sorry about that, guys. This right here is the oil gland. So if you're gonna keep them whole, then you have to cut that out, because that will mess up your meat. But we're cutting the entire tail off, so that's not a problem. And then it comes over here to Pop, and he's gonna
cut the feet off.
I can tell you I'm already tired of this.
And then after you cut the feet off, then we are gonna cut open the bottom back there so that we can get the insides out. Just a little slit in the back, just a little slit, so then you can open the chicken. I'm gonna come around, yep. And then that's where the insides are, and then we would just pull those out, which he'll do here in just a minute. He's around front getting the craw off and detach so that it can.
Explain what the craw is, Laura.
The craw is where the first stop of like where their food goes. When they're eating and everything, it all goes into a craw, and then it kind of breaks down from there so that they can digest it. And then he just pulls. out the insides.
So Olivia, if you saw the way that I was watching it, just don't flop it. You don't stick your hand all the way in, okay? You lift it up,
And then we have a bucket on the bottom down here that we're putting all the yuck stuff, like all these things right here. The only things that we are saving are the livers and the gizzards, and so we have separate buckets right there that we can use those for whatever we need, fishing, dog treats, whatever that we need or want to make out of it.
Alright, so real quick, the way that I do mine, I just do one slit across the top up here. We're not saving the skin, so I don't worry about the skin. When you open that up, that right there is your craw. Okay, it might have air in it, so I just take and grab hold of that and pull it loose from my chicken. And once it's tore loose in the upper chamber, then I can pull it through to the lower chamber. And the other thing in here is the trachea, okay, or their windpipe. I want to make sure that's pulled loose from the neck, okay. And then I come around, get the feet out of the way. Right here at the joint between it, if you hold their feet where they're hyperextended, then one little slit right there, it will open up. You can pull the foot off.
Uh-oh.
Did a mess, Pop Pop?
Yeah.
So just hyperextend it and cut it like that. And then, so you have the top of the chicken up here, the butt down here. At the end of the breastbone right here, I come halfway between, I pinch my skin up, and I just do one little slit, just enough to get into the lower cavity. And then I just take my fingers and pull it apart. Okay, pull the chicken apart like that so you can get in there. And then you just take your hands and wrap it around it. As you're pulling those out, there comes your craw, okay, and windpipe and everything. So I leave it like that right there. All of my intestine is still intact, all the way from the throat to the butt. And then this way, I don't open any of those rectal juices to the meat. On the cutting board, I get my tail off. So as you can see, none of the intestines ever touched my meat. Okay. So here are the innards. We have the gizzard and the livers. That's the gallbladder, that little dark colored thing. Stay away from that. Do not bust that open.
If you do, it'll be really nasty green.
It'll be nasty green, and it will make your meat taste bad. So we leave that. The heart's still in here. I missed it. And there's the heart. And we save that. We're going to use that for fish food. If we ever get caught up here on the homestead, we're going to go fishing. So that's that. And we'll just drop that in the buckets. And my buddy's got some hogs, and they're going to get them a treat. So gizzard, livers, and heart, and
The chicken.
and the chicken. And
You better get your craw here.
The windpipe didn't come through.
It didn't pull
It
through.
just broke a little.
It just broke. Now you need to pull the rest of it out.
My fingers are slit and I can't grab it.
There you go.
There we go.
You got it.
And that was the rest of it.
I don't know what you're going to do with
So-
it. You got it.
Then you got the lungs up here on the insides, up on each side. I've actually got a little lung scraper that makes this easier, but I don't have it out here right this second. But we just get that out. So that's that one. We gotta go down and get some more chickens in the wagon and get them brought up here. But if you were going to leave them whole, then at this point you would just rinse it, put it in
We need to chill it.
heat shrink bag, and then put it over to chill. So you're just gonna rinse it out. Any feathers just that the plucker might have missed, you just pull them off. But that would be finished after you rinsed it and bagged it. But we're gonna go one step further and quarter our meat up, and we'll show you that in just a little bit. Guys, so it came in and started storming, and so we kind of altered our plans just a little bit. We went to quartering up the chickens. So and then we're vacuum sealing the stuff. I'll go over this thing in just a second. But this, like I said, is where we had come up to. All the guts have been removed, and if you were going to leave it whole, this is your bird. But we're going to quarter ours. So we take the knife, cut our chicken on the side here between the leg and the breast, and I just want to get that skin apart to where I can get up here to the back. Now on their back, this right here, this is called the oyster. And you bring the knife and you come up and you ride the knife around getting that oyster, because that's a big old hunk of meat right there that you don't want to waste, off of the backbone. And then we just pull it down. You hear it disconnect the hip from the hip joint, and right there we just go between them, and then we ride down the backbone. Okay, then you've got a thigh and a leg. Bring your thigh over. Alright, you know what a chicken leg looks like. So we know that joint's right in here. So you can feel it right there. So I just come down with my knife into that joint. And then you got a leg. You go in between the joint, and that's smooth. That's nothing sharp on it. If you just feel your knife in there, then you won't cut into the bone, and that's all smooth, so it doesn't cut your vacuum seal bags. Then you got a thigh ready to go. So one more time, we're going to cut our skin. I'm going to flip him over, cut my skin. Here's my oyster. So I'm going to bring my knife in. I'm going to bring the knife around that oyster, and then I'm going to come down. I'm going to pull my leg down just a little bit, which dislocates that hip joint. And there's that hip joint. I'm going to take my knife and go in between there. And I'm just going to come straight down. And that separates the thigh and leg. There's my joint on my chicken leg. I just press down. Separates my leg from my hip joint. That one's done. Now, flip your chicken over on his back. This skin, you could leave the skin on if you want skin on your breast. We do skinless. So I just take and get my fingers under there. You can pull it all the way off. Once you're at this point, we want to separate our wing. Come down on your breast, and you want to come up about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch up on your breast. You want to make a cut in. You see that joint right there? That's your joint for the wing. Okay? So then I'm going to hold my wing. I'm just going to manipulate that joint around to where I can open it up. And I'm going to cut my wing off. There's just a little bit of breast meat on the wing, but you've got to get to that joint right there. And then let me tell you, that is some good hunk of meat when you cook these. Laura puts them in her Instapot and cooks them, and then she'll take them out and coat them with hot barbecue sauce, put them in the oven and broil them for just a couple minutes, and that really sets it in. It's super, super good. So one more time, we take our bird on its back, come up just a little bit, we go down until we get to the joint. We're going to go in between, come up, and separates the wing from the breast. Now you have your backbone and your breast left. I'll put it on the back, and right down the center of the breastbone, bring my knife, and I'm cutting right along that breastbone all the way down to the bone, and you'll feel it when you get to the bone. And then I just peel it back, and I use this boning knife, and I just easily cut my meat off the bone. And if it does that right there, and you end up cutting that cartilage off, just take your knife and cut it off. So we keep coming down. We're just working this breast to try to get as much of the meat off as we absolutely can. Bring it down, and that'll go in our broth pan. Now you've got a breast. This right here is your tender, your chicken tender. So I just take it and I pull it off. You got your breast, you got your tender. Now the tender has this tendon in it, and we got this. It's called a chicken stripper, and what it is, it's got a hole in the end. And the way that I found the easiest way to do this, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I put that through there, just regular catfish stripper pliers, and I grab that tendon, because it is tough and you don't want that in your meat. And then you pull with one hand and you push the stripper with the other, turning it, and that little hole in the end pulls that tendon all the way through and out. And then you get that tough little piece of tendon out of your chicken tender, and it's ready to go. Same thing with the other side. Come right down the breastbone, cutting it all the way down to the bone. And as you can see on this side, we got all of it off, and it's a little bit hard to learn how to do one side versus the other, you know, because you're right-handed or left-handed, and one side's going to be more difficult. So, but you just work that meat, keeping your little fingers out the way. And I work it up, and I come right down that wishbone, down toward the front, and it separates it. Now that is what we make our chicken broth out of. There's still good meat on there, and when we cook it down, we get those little chunks of meat in our chicken broth. Oh, so good. Pull that tender apart. The breast is ready to go. Then we take one more time, if I can get it to. Sometimes this is a little difficult. Great. So we squeeze with my pliers and push and pull, and that's simple. The tendon, which that's how they flap their wings, that right there is like a tendon, real tough. You don't want to eat that. And then you've got all meat right there, chicken tender. Laura, fry it up, put some batter on it, and it'll be ready to go.
Good chicken nugget.
Or chicken nugget, yep. Super good. So guys, that's how we kind of do that. Come around, Laura, let's look at this real quick. My mom bought this. It's a Avid Armor Ultra Series vacuum sealer. And it seems to do a pretty good job. I think she's got one in there ready to go. Put the bag in. This little deal right here is just a little magnet that holds the bag. You put your bag over this little tab. Put your bag keeper down. Push the door down. Start it. You see it sucks it down. It runs the timer out. You can set the time up or down, the seal time up or down, and you see it's pulling the vacuum. Once it runs out, then it's not like a food saver vacuum sealer. The chamber sealer, it sucks all the air out all at once. So just watch it there. 3, 2, 1. It's sealing. And there, I guess it puts a vacuum in the entire chamber is the way it works. So that's the reason that when you see it go down all at once, that's when it's releasing the pressure out of the chamber. But you can see there's no air in that bag whatsoever. And them are ready to go, and it does a double seal on it, heat seal. So anyways, guys, that's kind of how we're doing. We've got more chickens to go down and get and dispatch. It's kind of slacked up on the raining now that we've got started on quartering, but we've got more to dispatch and scald, and we've got a whole bunch to quarter up and vacuum seal. So we'll check back in a little bit later.
All right, everybody, so we are just about done with our processing for the day. We've processed harvesting all the chickens, dispatching them, and we're just finishing up quartering all of the chickens. And we didn't think to weigh the chickens as we were going through them. However, this is one of the last few, and as you can see, it is almost 5.5 pounds. And that's kind of one of the smaller ones we had. We did have some that were quite a bit bigger too.
And that's meat weight. That's not necessarily, you know, just chicken weight. That's completely
all meat.
All meat.
Yeah.
I mean, there are the bones there,
yeah.
But if you go to the store, that's what you're getting.
Yes. So we are finishing up. It has been a quite cold and rainy day. It has taken us a lot longer than we thought that it would because of that. Do what?
And
where did your bucket go?
If you can see here, this is one of the casualties of war. Make sure that you stand away from your cone when you get ready to dispatch, because sometimes they shoot out the other end.
At least it was on the jacket, not on his face.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it has taken us all day. We were not really in a rush, but we have worked diligently all day long to try to get this done, and we're just about finished.
Yeah. What do you say the temperature is today? 45. Is that what you said?
It read 50 inside at one point when I went inside the temperature. I don't know that it got
It's cooler than when I want to be out here
cold.
playing in water.
Woo!
So thank you guys for coming and watching. If you've not done so before, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. We hope that this helps you to be able to process your chickens, or maybe something we done will be a help to you. Thank you, take care, and God bless.